Hello, hello, hello. Hi, guys. Let me know if everybody can see and hear. Let me know if everybody can see and hear. We got Lee and Billy. Hey, guys. Hey. Late afternoon here, huh? Let's give it a few minutes, see who comes in. Oh, while I get, I've got the stream up here. I just want to make sure I've got the right sections. Hey, Lee. Lee K and Diamonds and Dew, aka Lee K. Lee's double watching. Double watching. Double watching. Have you subscribed, Lee, from both channels? Have you subscribed from both channels? Hey, Gail. Hey, Gail. Lee, I don't care where you come in from. It doesn't matter to me. Just so long as you're here. Hi, Sherry. How are ya? How are ya? How are ya? So today was Eli's last day of school till after the new year. Oh, Mickey, I just started. Just started a couple minutes ago. Both are subbed. Thanks, Lee. I appreciate that. I'm good, Sherry. Doing good. Today is Eli's last day of school. He is home for the holiday. Well, I mean, he's always home, but I'm just saying he's off school till after the new year. Yay! Thank goodness for no more 5:30, 6 a.m. mornings for a couple of weeks, right? And then today, hey, Kath, headed out to do some shopping. Well, hey, Kath, I've missed you in here the last few days. Up, Gracie's Diamond World. She's in Lurkville 939. Hey. Hey, Gracie. Gracie's working and lurking. So yeah, Dale's work week starts. Well, Dale's second shift work week ends either tonight or tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow night, but they said that they may be giving them tomorrow off. But either way, either tonight or tomorrow night will be his last second shift night, and he will be going to first shift after the first of the year. I cannot be more excited. So excited for that. So, but we're going to get started in this case. So what we talked about yesterday was after the Bryce Rhodes trial ended, the sentencing phase ended, we are going to talk about this Derek Rosa case. He's a 13-year-old from Florida. I'm sure I'll mispronounce the name. Hialeah, Florida. Something like that. And so I found this evidentiary hearing the other day. This is a few days old, but I watched the whole thing. And the first part of this, I'll tell you real quick here in just a second what the story, so to speak, is. But this stream that I have up now is like 5 hours and 40 some minutes long. And we're going to skip the vast majority of it and get straight to the testimony in this hearing of the cop that questioned this young boy in the police station. So, but the story is Derek Rosa, who, like I said, is a teenager, like barely a teenager, 13 years old. Hey, JC, welcome. He's 13 years old, lives in Florida with his mom, stepdad, and baby, brand new baby sister that's 2 weeks old, literally. And he's an honor roll student. He goes to a school locally there. He made a 911 call one night, right? And tells the 911 operator that he stabbed his mother, that he killed her. Hey, Morgana. Hey, did I say hey to you already, Gail? I think I did. But if not, hi, times two. Morgana Banana. So anyway, he tells the 911 operator that he stabs his mom, that he kills his mother in the bed. A woman is like, "Where's your baby?" Because he said she asked who was in the home, and he's like, "Oh well, me and my mom and my baby sister. My stepdad's out. He's a truck driver, and he's not home right now." And the 911 operator is like, "Well, where's your baby sister?" And he said she's in the bed asleep. And he even at one point says, "What do I do if she wakes up, the baby?" Talking about the baby. And I don't remember what the operator on the phone said, but um, the operator asks why he did it. Or he said, "Is there any way we can help?" She said, "Is there any way we can help her?" And he said, "No, ma'am, she's dead." He said something about blood all over the floor. I don't know. But she asked why he did it, and they like redacted that part out of the 911 call. So I don't know what the motive is. That has not been introduced, I guess, yet, so to speak. So we don't know why he did it. Oh, I didn't see you pop in, Mary Lou. Hey. Uh-oh, no sound. You guys can't hear? Can you hear me? My mic is on. Can you guys hear me? Uh-oh. Let me know if you can hear me. Oh, it's back. Okay. Okay. How long was the sound out for? Just a few seconds or like a long time? Only brief. Okay. Whew. Whew. Anyway, so he had explained to the 911 operator, that he had gone to, I guess, wherever his stepdad keeps the firearms, and he had thought about taking one of the firearms and using it on himself, but he said he got scared and didn't do it. So, but it's oh, and at one point he said there were two things that I was going to mention that was pretty sad. And one thing he said, well, I mean, the whole thing is sad, but anyway, one thing he said was that he told the operator, he said, "Ma'am, I took pictures of my mom and sent it to my friends. Is that bad?" Like he was like, "Was that wrong?" And the other thing that he said that, broke me as a mom, it broke me. But the police were on their way, right, to the house. And you can hear on the 911 call them banging on the door, and it scares them. And he like yells out, and then he says, "They're here, they're here." And she said, "Go ahead and open the door." And he's like, "Are they going to kill me?" And she's like, "No, no." And that, when he said that, I was like, oh my God. So, but as far as I know, they are wanting to try this kid as an adult, which that's a whole discussion amongst itself, right? I mean, he's 13 years old. I just don't know how I feel about that. So, I don't know. I don't know. And I think the reason that I mean, sometimes there are situations where I'm like, yeah, they should be tried as an adult. They did adult things, you play adult games, you get adult prizes, but that's not really, in my opinion, I was listening to someone, this like psychologist, and he was saying, at 13 years old, child's brains are not wired the way adult brains are. They don't understand. Literally, he said something like they don't understand the finality of their actions compared to what an adult does, especially now. So in the world of video gaming and stuff. But anyway, that's a whole discussion, right? I know, I understand that, and it's probably a really debatable subject. But what I want to do is get into this video and let you guys listen. Now, I will say the audio is not great, so I am going to turn on closed captioning. And even that isn't perfect, but it's better than not, so to speak. This is in Florida, Morgana. And I think that the mother's name is Irina Garcia. I think that's what the website said. And the boy, the 13-year-old son, his name is Derek Rosa. But you'll see his family, like grandparents and his biological dad, are in the courtroom, and he's in the courtroom too. The boy is. But his grandmother, oh my God, it's so hard to watch. Especially when he talks, because they're not gonna show it, but we'll be able to hear the in the interview, or I guess that's what you want to call it, interview or interrogation or whatever. But at the point when he's telling them that he had pulled out, that he thought about pulling out the gun to kill himself, the grandmother falls apart. It's so sad. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play this. Let me turn really quickly. Let me turn the closed captioning on. Let me make sure that they're on. Yeah, okay, they're on. So does anybody have any questions before we get started on this? Any other questions? Because when this starts, I'm going to mute my mic so that we can hear it and you don't hear the background noise. And things. Yes, absolutely. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Thank you, JC. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, we will get started then. Here we go. If you have AirPods in or headphones on, you might want to just lower the volume for a minute and then adjust it how you need it, because it is kind of like all of a sudden. So I'll give you the count of 3. 3, 2, 1.
Shall we hear from your witness?
Yes, thank you, Judge.
Okay.
The state calls Detective Josephine Lassigny. Where would you like him to?
All right, we're Mr. Lewis is right now.
Sure. Yeah. Please, right?
Yes, Hialeah, Florida.
raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Detective. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Were you assigned the lead detective of the murder of Rena Garcia on October 12th or in the early morning hours of October 13th of this year?
Yes, I was.
In that capacity, in investigating this case, did you ever learn the phone number for the defendant's father?
Yes.
Did you also learn the phone number for the defendant's grandmother?
Yes.
Showing you the marked as state's identification 1W. The newest records. Your Honor, there is a business record certificate for the hearsay objection, but Detective, could you tell me, do you know what the defendant's father's phone number is?
Yes, I do.
There's records in evidence now.
Judge, they're not. I'm not showing it to him now. I was just showing it for Your Honor that there's a business record certificate, which I would move into evidence now as
Those
an
are the phone
exception.
records between the 5th and the 12th?
But
The
7th and the 12th.
from the 7th to the 12th.
Okay. Do you have an objection to those?
No, Your Honor.
Admitted.
That's
Exhibit 1W marked for
that's
ID
Derek
on
Rosa
state's
over
exhibit number
here
6.
on the right here.
Do you wanna see them?
That's the 13-year-old boy.
Do you have the phone number for the defendant's father?
Yes, I'm going to reflect to my notes here. And the defendant's father's number is, do you want me to say it?
Yes.
Okay, it's area code
You know
954.
what?
You know, Judge, we don't have to put
We
on the
don't
record, but I
need
just
to
want to.
publish
Okay.
a phone number other than some.
I'll show this,
familiar.
Judge. I'm going to show you page 2 of 3 of this record. Let's look, for example, at line number 24. Is the phone number for the destination number of line 24 in this exhibit the defendant's father's number?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then for reference, let's look at line number 20 under destination number. Is that phone number, the only other phone number there, is that the phone number that you have for the defendant's grandmother?
Yes, it is.
Do you have that exhibit now, Mr. Howard?
And when you looked at that, did you see that 15 of those calls were to,
Judge, in publishing the records, just so the court, to put the court's attention where it needs to be, if you look down at line 16, the very first call, which was at 5:25 p.m. on the 7th,
Got it.
that is the very first phone call.
All right, that's the
And
follow-up
then
number.
every call thereafter,
I just paused it for a quick second. Sorry. I do have to say a couple things about this judge. I really like this judge. He does not play around, and the defense lawyer, the one that has like a brown jacket and she's got longer dark hair, when she speaks here in a little bit, this judge does not mess. He don't play. And it's anyway. And then also this judge is very into ring lights. He has a ring light on both sides of his desk. And you can see the ring light in his glasses. It's kind of funny and cute, but anyway. Okay. We're going back to play.
continuing on page 2 and into page 3 is either the father's phone number, which was just given, or the grandmother's phone number.
Okay.
With the exception of one call which seems to have a missed digit, and it wasn't completed.
Mhm. All right. And apparently they don't let you talk for longer than 30 minutes.
Right,
Thank you.
right.
All right, thank you.
Detective, that evening Was the defendant Derek Rosa taken into custody by the Hialeah Police Department?
Yes, he was.
And was he transported from the scene somewhere?
Yes,
Where was he taken?
to the Hialeah Police Department Homicide Office.
And were you there at the Hialeah Police Department Homicide Office in the early morning hours of, may I have that one exhibit? Of the 13th?
Yes, I was.
Showing you what's been marked for identification, just a second, as 1F.
I'm gonna object to the introduction of this. Same objection.
That's the photo of him with the other officers?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is this a fair and accurate depiction of what the Hialeah Police Department Homicide Office looked like that night on 10/13/23?
Yes,
And do you recognize the people in this?
yes.
State moves 1F into evidence.
Okay. Over your objection on relevance,
On relevance, on grounds.
well, relevance is one ground, you have others.
Yeah, sorry. No foundation, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, overruled.
State's Exhibit 1F marked for ID will become State's Exhibit number 7.
Thank you. Showing you what's in evidence now, State's Exhibit 7. Who is the person on the far left of this image?
That is Homicide Detective Wilbur Gonzalez.
And about how tall is Wilbur Gonzalez?
I would say about 5'10".
Okay, is it fair to say he's a grown man?
Yes, he is.
And who's the person in the middle of the image?
That is the defendant?
Okay, that's Mr. Rosa?
Yes.
Okay. And who's the only other person on the far right of the image?
That is the patrol officer who transported him to the station.
And is he also a grown man?
Yes,
Are they all relatively the same size in this picture?
yes.
Does Your Honor want them published or no? To Your Honor.
I've seen that one.
Okay. Once he was transported to the Hialeah Police Department, was he taken into an interview room?
Yes, he was.
Were you in that room?
Yes, I was.
Was a statement given by him?
Yes.
Had you had, showing the defense 1A? It's on a flash drive, Your Honor. I've already put that on my computer, so it's not a delay, but may I show you what's marked as States 1A? Is that your signature here?
Yes.
Okay. And what date is here?
12/1/23.
On that date, were you able to confirm that what's on the flash drive is the complete interview of the defendant?
Yes.
At this time, the state moves 1A into evidence.
Okay. I've heard your objections, I've ruled on your motion for protective order. I believe it's now relevant because of your provision to a doctor that you tell me still you intend to utilize his opinions that bear upon this defendant's mental health and mental status. So I'm not allowed in over objection.
State's Exhibit 1A marked for ID will become State's Exhibit number 8.
Well, Judge, I tested it earlier and it was working. But now, I'm not sure how to get it on the screen because it is on. It's not.
Let me know, you guys, if the closed captioning is helping.
There we go. Let me just close.
Like I said, I know the audio is not great.
Can you already see this? May I publish it?
Yay.
There, go in there. Have us right there, please, if you can.
I'm pausing at 1 minute and 17 seconds. Detective, is this in the left of the screen you?
Yes,
And who was the other adult that was speaking right before Mr. Rosa sat down?
Detective Over Gonzalez.
And is this timestamp on this accurate? Was it at 2:39 in the morning on October 13th that this was taken?
Yes.
Just one there. I'm Detective Gonzalez. This is Detective Rosa. I'm just gonna go over a couple things with you first. Just for the record, today's date is Friday, October 13, 2023, and the time is currently 2:40 a.m. And this is in regards to the case.
Yeah, the case number is going to be 2023-02953. An incident that happened at 211 West 79 Place, apartment number 201.
Okay. For the record, my back number is 1527.
And minus 958.
And again, just a heads up, there's nothing I can do about the audio. I have it up as loud as it will go. I know it's super duper loud, so you guys can adjust it as you need to. But the audio does clear up a little bit whenever he's asking them questions, or asking him questions. But it's still not the best. So I don't know if it's just because the audio is bad on the video, plus the fact that it's being recorded live in a courtroom that probably is echoey and stuff. So anyway, I'll leave the closed captioning on. Sherry, thanks for letting me know. All right, back to it.
You go to school, right? What grade are you in? 8th grade. 8th grade. Good student? A's and stuff like that? Yes. What reading class are you in right now? You know? What do you think, as in language arts? Okay. So you can read with no problem? Okay. I'm gonna read you something first, and then, you can read it afterwards, okay? Before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court. If you have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions, and to have a lawyer present with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you desire. If you decide to answer these questions now without a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop answering at any time or until you talk to a lawyer. Waiver of rights. I have read the statement of my rights and I understand what my rights are. I am willing to make a statement and answer questions. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I understand and know what I am doing. No promise or threats have been made to me. No pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me. Okay? If there's...
Okay, this is the form language, okay? Now, I want you to follow, actually to read here. Okay, read this little dot right here. Yes.
Before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights, yours.
Okay, you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and initial this little dot for me. It means that you understand that. Yeah, it's your initials.
I have initials as your name.
Okay. Whatever. Right here. Okay, read the second line.
You have the right to remain silent.
Okay, you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, write your name again if you understand that. Okay, read this line right here.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court.
Okay, you understand that? Go ahead, the same procedure, just go ahead and put your initials. Or your signature. Go on to the next line.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions, and to have the lawyer present with you during the questioning.
Okay, you understand that? Go ahead and okay. Now right here.
If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning, if you so desire.
Okay. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Signature. And this right here.
If you decide to answer questions, now that a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop answering at any time, or until you talk to a lawyer.
Okay, go ahead and initial right there. Okay, now read this whole paragraph.
I have read this statement of my rights, and I understand what my rights are. I am willing to make this statement and answer questions. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I understand and know what I'm doing. No promises or threats have been made to me. No pressure or persistent.
Coercion, that is that we're forcing you to do something. You understand? Whatever you're doing on your own voluntarily basis, making an educated decision for yourself, okay?
Okay.
Keep on.
Of any kind that has been used against me.
Okay. Now, we are investigating an incident that happened, you know, where you called police, okay? Before we ask you any questions, we want to make sure that you know this. And if you want a chance to explain yourself, the only way that we would be able to take your statement is if you agree to talk to us without the presence of an attorney. If you do, go ahead and sign right here.
What's that saying?
An attorney is someone that can represent you in legal matters. Okay?
Do you know what a lawyer is?
Yes.
Yeah, same thing. By you signing that, you're wanting to give us a statement without the presence of the lawyer. You understand that?
Yes.
Is that your wish?
There's no wish.
Okay.
Can you say your last name, Jim?
If at any time while we're talking to you, you have any questions or something, or don't understand something, please let us know, okay? Okay, you want to write your name right up here? Okay, I'm going to write the case number here. Okay, 02-8953 HPD. The date?
10/13/2023, and the time is 2:46. Derek, can you state your full name for the record? Yeah, everything, your full name.
Derek Stephen Rosa.
What's your date of birth?
August 26, 2010.
What's your address?
I have no address.
Okay. What's your telephone number? You don't know either?
No.
Okay. What type of phone do you have?
An iPhone.
An iPhone? What color is it? It's blue?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you lived in that apartment there?
Since I was 11, so 2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
Okay. Who lives there with you?
My mom, my sister. She's my mom, my sister, daughter a week ago.
Okay.
My stepdad.
What's your sister's name?
Ashley Ramos.
Okay. And your stepfather, do you know his name?
Yes.
What's his name?
Frank Ramos.
Frank Ramos. Okay. Derek, let's start with this morning. You stepped to your house last night, right?
Yeah.
Do you go back and forth between staying with your mom and your dad or not? Or do you usually just live with them?
That's really hard to explain. One weekend, I'm with my mom, and the other weekend, I'm with my dad. No, I'm with my dad the whole week, only
Weekends.
and I love weekends.
Where does your dad live? You don't know? But is it in Miami, down here somewhere?
It's in Broward.
In Broward?
Yeah.
Okay. But last night you slept at your mom's house?
Yes.
Okay. You got up this morning and
Yeah, it's on my bus, the school bus.
you went to your school bus.
Yes.
What school do you go to?
I'm at Middle High.
I'm at Middle High?
Yeah.
Okay, that's over there on 20th Street, right?
Yes.
And what grade are you in?
Eighth grade.
8th grade? Honor classes? No? So, tell me about your day at school. Regular day at school?
I didn't do too much work.
You didn't do too much work? Regular release day, time, stuff like that? How do you get there, bus?
Yeah.
Okay. You got back
On bus.
on bus?
Yes.
Okay. And then, you were home the whole day? Or did you leave?
I stayed home after school.
You stayed home after school?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into what happened tonight. Were you, do you communicate with people over the phone? Were you talking? Oh, tell me what happened tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Well, at around like 10, I went to bed.
Okay. Is that your regular time?
Like
9?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys explain to me about the apartment. You have your own room?
Yes.
And your mom?
Yes, she has her own room.
She has her own room, and your sister
She stays in the same room as my mom.
stays in the same room as your mom. And tonight, who was all there?
Me, my mom, and my sister.
Okay. So you went to sleep around 10?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what?
I woke up and I went to the kitchen. I grabbed one of the kitchen items and then I went to her room and then I ate.
It's okay, you can say it.
I killed her.
You killed her? Alright. What type of knife was it? Do you know?
It was just a big size kitchen knife.
That big?
Yeah.
What color was the handle?
Purple.
Purple?
Yes.
Okay. Your mom was sleeping?
Yeah, she was sleeping.
Okay. Explain to me. Well, we'll get into that a little later. What did you do after you killed her?
My stepdad has, he owns 2 guns. He has a Glock 19
Okay.
and then, I don't know what to call it, another one.
Okay. What color are they?
The Glock 19 is black and then the other one has a silver slide and then like a dark bluish handle.
Okay. So, what did you do with the guns?
He always has his Glock 19 with him at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And since he's a truck driver, he wasn't at home as far away.
Okay.
So I went into the closet.
Mm-hmm.
I found because he goes shooting at gun ranges.
Okay.
I grabbed the guns. I put the magazine in the gun. I pulled back to start, but I wanted to intended to shoot myself before, but I couldn't.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I just said for my friends to tell them I have, and that's it.
Okay, that is the grandmother. That's what I was talking about. Earlier in the video, I was talking about how she got really upset and emotional whenever she heard him in the interview talking about thinking about taking his life with a gun. And I don't know if that's the first time she's hearing this or just reliving it. I don't know, but that's his biological dad in the red and blue and white striped shirt. So I'm assuming that I'm assuming so, Gail, that is his paternal grandmother. But I don't know to be positive, but I'm assuming that. But yeah, you can see, I'll rewind it just in case you guys were listening but not watching. Her reaction, is heartbreaking. And earlier in the hearing, because like I said, this hearing is like 5 hours and 49 minutes long. And I scooched past all of there was a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with evidence. It was more about discussion about where he's staying at, where he's being held at, detention kind of things but so yeah. Anyway, I'm going to rewind it just a little bit more so that you can see this poor grandmother's reaction. But what I was going to say, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Earlier in the hearing, you could see she was just wringing her hands. She was praying, crying. She's just hardcore emotional. So it's gut-wrenching.
Let's get into what happened tonight. Were you, do you communicate with people over the phone? Were you talking? Tell me what happened tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Well, at around like 10, I went to bed.
Okay. Is that your regular time? 9?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys explained to me about the apartment. You have your own room?
Yes.
And your mom?
Yes, she has her own room.
She has her own room, and your sister?
She stays in the same room as her mom.
Stays in the same room and her mom? And tonight, who was all there?
Me, my mom, and my sister.
Okay. So you went to sleep around 10?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what?
I woke up and went to the kitchen. I grabbed one of the kitchen items and then I went to her room and then I ate.
It's okay, you can say that.
I just killed her.
You killed her? Alright. What type of knife was it, do you know?
It was just a big kitchen knife.
That big?
Yeah.
What color was the handle?
Purple.
Purple?
Yes.
Okay. Your mom was sleeping?
Yeah, she was sleeping.
Okay. Explain to me. Well, we'll get into that a little later. What did you do after you killed her?
My stepdad has, he owns 2 guns. He has a Glock 19.
Okay.
And then, I don't know what to call it, another one.
Okay. What color are they?
The Glock 19 is black, and then the other one has a silver slide and then like a dark bluish handle.
Okay. So, what did you do with the guns?
He always has his contacts with him at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And since he's a truck driver, he wasn't at home just for a while.
Okay.
So I went into the closet.
Mm-hmm.
I found, because he goes shooting at gun ranges.
Okay.
I got the guns. I put the magazine and the guns. I pulled back to start, but I didn't want to shoot myself.
Okay.
I intended to shoot myself before, but I couldn't.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I decided for my friends to tell them I have, and I said goodbye to my friends.
You called them before you decided to try to shoot yourself or afterwards?
After.
Okay. How many friends did you call?
Only one.
What's his name?
I don't know the name, he's an online friend.
He's an online friend?
Yeah.
When you say online friend, what do you mean from video games?
Yes, from video games. I know him real well.
Okay. How long have you known him?
Since like I was 10, 3 years.
3 years? Have you ever met him?
No, I seen his face.
You seen his face?
Yeah.
So how did you communicate with him?
My cell phone.
Through your cell phone, so you have his number?
Yes.
And you don't have him stored under a certain name, or you have him stored under a gamer tag?
I made up a name for him.
You made up a name for him? What name did you make up?
Sweden.
Sweden?
Sweden. SWEEDEN.
Okay. How often do you talk to Sweden?
Every weekend.
Every weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. So you called Sweden. And what did you tell Sweden?
So I'm like,
What exactly did you tell Sweden? When you say what I did?
it killed my mom.
Did you tell him how? Or no? How you killed her? Or no?
I think it's over now. No, I did not.
Okay.
I said it killed her.
Okay. Did you send them any pictures?
Yes.
How many pictures did you send them?
I sent him to my mom and one of me.
Okay. Did you... What did he tell you?
I said he couldn't believe it.
Okay. Does Sweden live down here in Florida?
They go far.
Real far?
Yeah. In America though.
Oh, in America?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you hung up the phone?
She said goodbye.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I was going to shoot myself, but I said I didn't want to do it. And I called 911.
Okay. And what did you tell 911?
See me couldn't bring police officers here after my mom.
Okay. And they kept you on the phone
Yes, until the cops came.
until the cops came. Do you remember what else you told the 911 operator?
My address, my name, what I was wearing,
Okay.
and my age, and my date of birth.
Were you wearing the same clothes you're wearing now?
Yeah.
There's some red stains there. Is that blood?
It is.
Okay.
I have a little bit of my hands.
And your hands too? Okay. Did you ever make your way to your sister?
Shot her?
No.
Touch her?
Touch her?
No.
No.
I was when she was sleeping and she didn't wake up, so I didn't touch her.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to your mom. Okay, you said she was sleeping.
Yes.
Okay. Where exactly did you cut her?
At first, I cut her with my shear.
And her neck?
This is like the type of vein that goes to your neck right here on both sides.
Okay.
You can stab here, but she can stab right
Do
here.
you know what that's called?
Like an artery or something.
An artery?
Yeah.
Okay. And you purposely went for the artery? When you...
Purposely went for the neck, but I didn't hurt.
Okay. Was there a lot of blood after?
There's a big ton of blood on the floor.
Okay. Did you tell her anything before you stabbed her? Did you say anything?
I said curse words in Spanish.
Curse words in Spanish?
Yes.
But she didn't wake up when you... She was asleep when you stabbed her?
Yes, and then she woke up after I stabbed her.
What curse words did you say?
In Spanish?
Yes.
Marijuana? Yes.
Okay. And then she woke up?
Yes.
Did you say anything else to her? Did she say anything to you or not?
She's screaming.
She just screamed.
Yes.
Okay. Why did you stab your mom?
Can you just ask me to answer that?
Yes, of
Give
course.
me 1 second.
You want to take it first?
Have a patrol team.
Yes, got control tape. Make sure they're 5-5 on the break-in.
Where's the patrol at? Down in the hall? Okay, I don't have my body cam. You need to go to that.
Here, I'll go ahead and take them.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and take them.
Okay, so just real quick, couple things here. JC said, I wonder if that his grandma on it is the grandma on his dad's side or his mom's side. So I know that the guy that is wearing the blue, red, and white striped sweatshirt or sweater is his bio dad. And the woman is sitting next to him. I'm assuming it's his grandma on his dad's side, but I'm not positive. Also, if you missed what they just said, I know it's the audio is horrible, horrible, horrible. But when the cop asked him, and I'll slip it back a few seconds, try not to go as far as I did the last time. But they ask him why he killed his mom, and that's when he says, before I talk about that, can I go to the bathroom? So, yeah. And then they're like talking about, stopping the recording, or maybe they keep it going, I think. And then one of the lawyers like says, Judge, do I have permission to like fast forward it a couple minutes to get through that like quiet bathroom break or whatever. So, but yeah.
Yes, got control tape. Make sure they're 5-5 on the break-in.
Where's the patrol at? Down in the hall? Did you say anything else to her? Did she say anything to you or not?
She's screaming.
She just screamed. Why did you stab your mom?
Can you just ask me to answer that?
Yes, of course. Of
Give me
course.
1 second.
You want to take it first?
Have a patrol team.
Yes, got control tape. Make sure they're 5-5 on the break-in.
Where's the patrol at? Down in the hall? Okay, I don't have my body cam. You need to go to that.
Here, I'll go ahead and take them.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and take them.
Detective, after this, do you take him to the bathroom? Is this empty for a couple of minutes? The screen.
Yes.
In the purpose of saving time, is there any objection to me fast forwarding to when they come
Don't
back?
have any objections, you're advancing that to the next relevant portion.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Joe?
Yeah.
For the record, I'm now at 22 and 11.
One thing, you said it's your online friends, right? What type of console do you have? Do you play on the OS and on the computer?
I played on a couple of consoles. There's an Xbox in the living room. I have a Switch in my room. I have a VR headset in my room too.
Okay. What type of games do you play?
Mostly fighting shooter games.
Like what song?
Like Fortnite, Call of Duty.
Fortnite, Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your gamer tag?
Picture tag, Stock Tree.
What is it called?
Stock Tree.
Stock Tree?
1990.
Why'd you pick that?
Just
Can you spell that for me?
yes.
No.
STOCK No space. Capital T.
No space?
No space. Capital T.
Okay.
R E E
Mm-hmm.
199.
Another nine?
Yeah.
Okay.
0.
Okay, so that's it. Stock tree 1990, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll take you back a little bit. Did you call anybody else other than your friend?
My daughter.
Okay. Did you post anything on social media?
No. No mention. There's none.
Okay. Do you have social media?
I have Discord.
Discord?
Yeah.
That's like a video game thing, right? What's Discord?
It's like, what's that?
What's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Discord, D-I-S-C-O-R-D.
Yes.
Okay, what's your username on that?
Him. H-I-M.
Careful, H-I-M?
Yeah.
Okay.
Underscore.
Underscore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Forever.
Forever. Okay, do you have Instagram?
No.
No. Do you have WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have Facebook, correct?
I have Facebook.
Okay, Facebook.
I'll use it some. I just need it from the headset.
Okay, what's your surname on Facebook?
I use my name.
Your name?
Dear Rosa.
All straight?
Yeah. In the space.
No space?
Space.
Derek, D-R-I-K?
No, D-E-R-E-K.
Oh, I'm sorry. Derek, space, Rosa?
Yes.
Okay, but nothing in between, just a space.
The only space.
Okay.
How old are you there?
30.
And what grade is that? I forgot.
8th grade.
8th grade?
Yes.
Okay. When the police got there, did you say anything to the police? That you were
I asked about my sister.
You asked about your sister?
They just said who was in there. I said my sister.
Okay. Did you say anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. So you were about to tell me the why. Why did you kill your mother? Do you know?
If I had to say now,
Yeah, get it off your chest. Absolutely.
I only feel older.
Okay, at this point, you want to order?
Maybe not.
We can't, no, listen. Just so you understand, okay? You have mentioned or asked us, should you wait for a lawyer? We're not here to advise you on whether to talk to a lawyer or not. That decision is yours, okay? But if you are requesting a lawyer at this point, we can't interview you any further. And saying we have to stop the interview.
Okay.
Do you want us to stop the interview?
Yes.
Okay. Then this interview will end right now.
It is 3:05 a.m.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello. Oh, sorry, I couldn't see. Okay, detective, so I want to start with something that was discussed in this interview. So the defendant mentioned his cell phone. Do you know if that was located on scene and taken into custody?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And were you detectives able to look through the cell phone after you, did you get a search warrant for that phone?
Yes, we did.
After you got a search warrant for the phone, were you able to look at the phone and look in the Google searches?
Yes.
Okay. And were you able to see some of the things that the defendant had just been searching on his Google?
Yes, on October 12 at 6 p.m., he did make searches on Google.
Okay. Now, where's that phone right now?
It is, I believe, with the Secret Service still. They've not, it's at our impound, property impound.
So you
Okay, so they're getting ready to talk about these Google searches that was found on his phone. And these Google searches, were made, I think he just said it's like 6 p.m. the same night that he killed his mom. So yeah. But hey, Dawn, I'm sorry I missed you coming in. JC said he got cell phone, internet, and video games, and he kills his mom. I don't feel sorry for him yet. Yeah. I know. So we'll get back to it, you guys. And yes, if you missed my comment earlier, the judge looks like a doppelganger of for Richard Dreyfuss. If you don't know who Richard Dreyfuss is, do you guys remember that old movie What About Bob? He plays the psychiatrist or therapist in that movie. Yeah, it's really good. Anyway, he looks just like Richard Dreyfuss. Let me go see if I can find a picture of Richard Dreyfuss. Hold on. Richard Dreyfuss. How do you spell that even? Oh, here we go. Dreyfuss. I spelled it right a while ago. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so let's find a recent picture. Here's a recent picture of Richard Dreyfuss. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Let me share. Share this with you. This right here. This Richard Dreyfuss. This guy right there. Yeah, he played in let's see. American Graffiti, Jaws. I forgot he was in Jaws in 1975. Yeah, that was a young Richard Dreyfuss. Stand By Me. What About Bob? Oh, Mr. Holland's Opus. That was such a good movie. Yeah, lots and lots of good movies he's been in. But that's who the judge looks like to me. All right, we'll get back out of there. And share this tab. Okay. And we'll continue. Sorry, I had to take that little detour because it was killing me. Just then when it showed the judge right there, I was like, oh, you look just like him. Okay, back to it.
You still don't have the full results of the phone back, is that fair?
No, we're getting a full forensic download report from the Secret Service.
Understood. But before you gave it to the Secret Service, were you able to look in the search window to see the most recent searches?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what those last searches were?
Yes, I'm going to again refer here to my notes.
Did you write them down verbatim?
Yes.
Okay. What's the first one?
The first-
How many were there?
There were approximately 6.
Okay, go ahead.
The first one, he typed in the word, the carotid artery image diagram.
Okay.
And after that, what is the best place to stab someone?
Okay, what's next?
Is a small knife good for killing?
What's next?
Is it easier to kill someone with a small knife?
What's next?
Can a knife cut through bone?
And the last one?
It was an image of a LMG machine gun.
Okay. The defendant also in the statement indicated to you that he sent 2 photographs of his mother to his friend. Were you able to confirm that in fact he did send photographs of his mother once she was deceased on scene to his friend?
Yes, they were located on his cell phone.
Okay, were you also able to locate the photograph that he sent of himself to his friend?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as showing friends, what's been marked as states 1P.
Same objection, Your Honor.
Sorry, Judge.
Objection overruled.
Maybe a minute now, or do you want me to lay more
Leave
foundation?
predicate
Okay.
for authenticity, please.
And did you see that photograph yourself?
Yes.
Is this a fair and accurate depiction of that photograph that he sent to his friend on his phone?
That is the photo he sent.
May I introduce 1P into evidence?
It's admitted.
Thank you, sir.
State's Exhibit 1P marked for ID will become State's Exhibit number 9.
Thank you. I can ask you more questions about that. Your Honor's already seen this, right? If there's anything you need me to publish, please let me know, Judge. Okay, detective. Later on in those early morning hours, was a search warrant received back to give you the authority to fully document the crime scene?
Yes.
Before that, I'm going to skip back a little bit. When the patrol officers arrived at the beginning of the night and took Derek into custody, was a sweep of the apartment done first?
Yes.
Okay. Was there anybody else other than Derek in the apartment?
No.
Okay. So are you sure there was nobody else in the apartment?
We are sure because we also have that backed up with a Ring camera that we,
So is there a Ring camera on the exterior door of the apartment 201?
yes.
Okay. What about a baby? Wasn't there a baby in
There
the
was a
apartment?
baby in a crib, laying in the crib next to the decedent.
Okay. And did Highlight Police take the baby out?
Yes.
Okay. And what did they do with the baby at that point?
They took it out for safety reasons and handed it over, I believe, to rescue or something.
Okay. And other than that, was Irina Garcia there?
Yes.
And did they check that she was in fact deceased?
Yes.
Okay, and at that point, did everybody leave, and was that secured and locked down waiting for a search warrant?
Yes. Once the officers made some observations, we used that to gather facts for the search warrant.
Okay. So you did receive a search warrant. At some point that morning on the 13th, did you enter that apartment?
Yes.
And did you look around the apartment, at the crime scene, in Derek's room, etc.?
Yes.
Did you stay there while the scene was documented and photographed?
Yes, I stayed there while photographs were taken.
While you were there, did someone from the medical examiner's office become an investigator as well as a doctor?
Yes.
Okay. And is it the medical examiner's practice and your experience that they take their own photographs as well?
Yes.
Okay. Have you reviewed all of those in your capacity as the lead detective on this case?
Yes.
For efficiency's sake, I'm gonna just
Can you take a
name.
look at all of them?
Yes, sir.
You're talking about the Emmys photos here?
Yes, sir. It's
That's
the
not
scene. Not of the autopsy, just the scene.
The Emmys report, has that been prepared?
Yes, Judge. It was complete. Yes.
I don't get a whole lot of relevance out of these. I do out of this, but I don't out of these. I would be just as much so if I had a description of the injuries as the medical examiner usually gives, because then I can tell depth of the wound, number of wounds, etc. These are little more that really need to be in evidence to prove, I think, the narrow issue that you're looking at.
There's the only relevance argument I want to make towards those. Well, there's a few. First, I think all of the evidence about the attack, and Detective Velosky can describe, because he was present for the autopsy, and he did see Miss Garcia in the way that she's pictured in those photographs, is relevant because of the force, because we talked about the physicality and size and strength of the defendant, as well as for a secondary argument of, even if you can send Mr. Rosa back to the Department of Juvenile Justice custody, that we believe that the degree and nature of those injuries demonstrate what a danger he would be to the other juveniles that are already housed there. I didn't at the time of our last hearing, the autopsy report was not complete. It is now complete. I don't have a business record certificate for it. However, the detective was present while so can't really introduce it through him, even though he was present. I could just ask him questions, Judge, based off of that. But there's another argument of relevance specifically to the photograph. I don't know which letter it is where it shows her legs.
Probably talking about what's been marked as 1H. Actually, can I have you guys come sidebar just for a minute?
Sorry, I'm just going to skip past this a little bit. Get through the sidebar. I don't know, this officer comes up to him and is, I guess, maybe just checking on him or something. Can't really. Still just white noise from the. Okay. Okay, now the white noise is over, so. He keeps his head in his hands, like, through pretty much the entire.
Judge, did you want me to email to you or just to Mr. Concepcion?
Part of this.
To the Evidentiary
Okay.
email address, if you will. I think Carlos received there.
I did send it to him already because I
Oh,
have
that's
that
fine.
email. Oh, okay.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
We're just gonna print it out in copies for you and me and defense and,
We're not, the defense is supposed to, if we give it to them, we have to take it back because the medical examiner's office insists that the defense get the material directly from them. We're not even allowed to give it out.
how does it become an exhibit?
Well,
I can
it
put
could
it
be
on
an
the
exhibit,
shield.
it could be an exhibit for your eyes only. I'm telling you, Judge, we're not allowed to disseminate it.
Because the ME doesn't want to disseminate it until they have a full report, or they provide.
No,
it.
because-
The Dale Earnhardt law is the exception.
Yeah, the Dale
There's
Earnhardt
a
law.
statute that
The defense has to contact, we actually make it available by the defense contacting them, the defense pays for it, the defense gets all the autopsy photos, which is why the autopsy photos are never given in discovery, ever.
Okay, I've got it. All right, give me a minute, I want to check something in chambers, and we're going to wrap up with this witness, and that'll be it for today. Okay? All right, give me a minute.
Hi, Tammy. Hey, hey. Let me fast forward through this, guys, quick and get to the rest of it.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. Okay?
Just start out with this photos.
All rise.
All right, just start out with this photos to me again.
Oh, do I have one?
Yes.
Sorry. Here's one more, sorry.
Here's the other one. Those two are already in. Okay.
Which particular wounds did you want to urge were probative on this issue?
The closer one of the neck area from the carotid and the thigh wounds for the premeditation, as well as, well, those were on that issue. On the others for the physicality, I think you're talking just
so
specifically
you're
about
object-
those.
So you're objecting to, I'm going to allow you to do it through the officer, you can describe the wounds that were examined by the medical examiner in his presence. You're objecting to the use of the medical examiner's report because you believe it's privileged in some fashion.
Well, Judge, I'd say that if your honor orders it, so normally what happens is we tell the defense, you can get an order which we don't object to have the disclosure of all of those things. So I think we're not objecting to it coming in. I think just you'd have to order us to disclose it for this purpose, for us to be able to do it legally.
The problem is, Your Honor, that we don't even send it to discovery, which is why I was going to say, for the purposes of the protective order, it's not a problem because the press would never get it because we don't send it anything, the autopsy report or the autopsy photos of any kind to the defense. They are required to go to the medical, because they're a part, we have to sanction it. We say there's the case pending. Then the medical examiner knows that they can come to the medical examiner's office and they can request it. They pay for it, but they get it, only them, only the defense. So the only parties that get that.
Okay, so they were talking about the thigh wounds. I don't know what that's about. And I couldn't really decipher what they were talking about before I skipped through this. Because they're saying that she was killed from multiple stab wounds to the neck area. But they talk here in a little bit about where the stab wounds are. And no, don't worry, they don't show anything unless I missed something. I don't think I did, but so yeah, I'm not sure what the thigh wounds we're talking about. I'm not positive, so I don't know if they just didn't discuss them because that's not what she died from, so I don't know. Okay, we'll continue.
Information prior to trial, at least, when it becomes a matter of total record, is us and the defense.
Okay, all right, well then let's do it this way. You're seeking to put in 1G, that's a knife and some other items that were found at the scene through this detective. That's fine. The photographs, these graphic photographs of wounds and the scene, I'm not going to I'm not going to take in this proceeding. The detective can, and for the marginal relevance that there is in terms of the wounds, types, number of wounds, and how they were inflicted, I'll take that through the detective.
Understood, sir.
Okay? All right. These will stay in the file because they're marked already in case they're on and somebody else wants to look at them. But other than the other objections you had, Mr. Lewis, with regard to the 1G photo of the knife and the items on the dresser counter, do you have any objections of the relevance on these?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to admit that over your objection. That's 1G is admitted. These others are not admitted. All right.
States 1G marked for ID will become State's Exhibit number 10.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, detective. So we were just discussing that you entered the crime scene, you were able to see the crime scene. Did you stay there until Ms. Garcia's body was taken by the MD's office?
I stayed there pretty much till the end, you know?
Okay, so at the end of that, once the crime scene was fully documented, was her body removed from the scene?
Yes.
Okay, where was it taken?
It was taken to the Miami-Dade Medical Examiner's office.
Before we talk about that, I want to show you what's in evidence as State's Exhibit 10. Do you remember seeing this that night?
Yes.
Okay. What room was this in the apartment?
I believe it was inside the victim's room. If I'm not mistaken, I remember seeing it on top of the counter.
Are you sure it wasn't in the defendant's room?
Objection.
It could have been,
Suggestive?
no. I said I don't remember. I can tell you it was on top of a counter.
Do you remember whose keys these were?
Yes, those are the defendant's keys.
And do you remember where you saw those keys?
Those keys were,
Asked and answered.
Overruled.
those keys, I believe, were in his room when we did this right.
And not to state the obvious, but is this a purple knife of about the same size that he had just shown you in the interview room?
Yes, it's a knife with blood on it, yes.
And at the tip of the knife, do you see anything unusual about that?
Yes, the tip was missing.
Okay, so now let's get back to the medical examiner's office. Did you yourself go to the medical examiner's office relating to this case?
Yes,
Is it normal practice in a homicide for the medical examiner or a doctor at the medical examiner's office to perform an autopsy on a murder victim? Okay. Were you actually present in the room during the entire autopsy?
right by the doctor.
And in this case, do you remember it was fellow Dr. Cornell and another doctor, right?
Yes, Cornell, yes.
And not to get into too much detail, but do you remember about how tall the victim was?
I would say the victim is fairly short,
Okay.
you know?
Would you consider her a petite woman?
Yes, very short.
Did you discuss the wounds on Ms. Garcia with the doctor?
I discussed and I saw them.
Okay. Let's start with, did the doctor tell you what the cause of death was?
Yes, it was a multiple blunt, sharp wound.
Was it sharp force wounds or blunt force wounds?
It was really sharp force wounds. I'd have to check the autopsy thing, but I believe it was sharp force wounds.
So let's talk about the evidence of injury. Let's start with, I'm going to show you actually what's, go back 1 second. So when you were in the apartment, did you see a baby monitor in the victim's room?
Yes.
Okay. Did your police department get a search warrant for the SD card or whatever, the card that's inside the baby monitor?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen images captured on the baby monitor?
I saw an image that was sent to me by the stepfather, Frank Ramos, initially. And then on the baby monitor, there was one image.
Okay, and was that essentially some of the basis for the probable cause for why you wanted to search the baby monitor?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to show you what's been marked as 1B, Mr. Lewis. Okay. Is this a fair and accurate depiction of one of the pictures from the baby monitor?
Yes.
Okay. And then 1C, is this a fair and accurate depiction of the other image?
Yes.
At this time, the state moves 1B and C indictments.
Your objection is relevance.
Relevance, authenticity, and 403.
Okay, so what is the relevance of these?
Judge, the
For the issue
relevance,
that I'm addressing here, where he's to be detained pending a trial, what do these offer to that?
so Judge, relating to that has been made relevant well, now we've had testimony about his educational abilities, his physical abilities, his emotional abilities, the nature of the premeditation, and how the attack happened. The state believes is very relevant to how the injuries occurred. The beginning of the attack is what we believe is depicted in, I'm not sure which image is, the image that Ms. Rosa is in, goes to the nature of premeditation, and also in our mind the coldness and the calculation combined with the searches and other things from his phone, which also go to why we believe that if you are using discretion in deciding the safest, best place for him to be housed, that it would be a danger to the other juveniles for him.
No, I'm not going to decide what's the safest, best place for him to be housed. What's at issue now is whether his constitutional rights are being violated by him being housed in the adult facility. The statutes require him to be in the adult facility.
Right.
But the case law in this district say that I am allowed to look at any potential constitutional violations on an individual prisoner basis. So what does this prove about his current state of detention?
So in addition to the statute that we agree says that he's to be housed as an adult, it's been made relevant in this hearing previously, the evidentiary hearing that was had on another case of a juvenile, the Christian Fernandez case, and the order that was given and put a part of this record had 4 things that Your Honor had indicated, and defense referenced it earlier on their directs, indicated that were relevant to your inquiry in a similar evidentiary hearing. So while the state believes that the law is very clear and that we don't need to go into all of that, since the defense is going into all of those factors about, they're focusing on the 2 about DJJ's position and the custody status. The other 2 were, one was his physicality, and the fourth was emotional and psychological standing, and I just think it's relevant. I understand if Your Honor doesn't, but I think it's relevant to that.
Excellent argument. Sustained.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just see if there were any other exhibits, Judge. Everything else is in but those at this point, and the photographs that we just rolled, right? Sorry, Judge, just 1 second.
You also have inmate information, that's 1U that has not been entered.
Okay,
And you see, and you have a rotation schedule that has
Okay.
not been entered.
not super relevant in this moment, Judge, but we had shown counsel previously the state's 1U commissary logs, and I believe they had no objection.
What is that?
These were just the commissary logs that earlier were mentioned, but there's no objection anymore if we could just move those.
Sure. Do you have any objection to
No, Your Honor.
admitting?
Okay,
so that'll be 3.
Thank you.
Okay. State's Exhibit 1B marked for ID will become State's Exhibit 11. State's Exhibit 1C marked for ID will become State's Exhibit 12. And State's Exhibit 1U marked for ID will become State's Exhibit 13.
Okay. So, Detective, I'm going to talk about the autopsy and injuries now, and I'm going to try and sum it up, okay, instead of going through each and every one together, okay? Is it fair to say that there were 46 sharp force wounds in total on Ms. Garcia's body?
Sorry, did you say 46?
46, sir, yes.
Yes.
Let's discuss the front.
Do you want to see any of these?
Is it,
You want to see any of these?
were there wounds to her face?
Yes.
Were there multiple wounds to her face, including eyes, mouth, ears?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move down to the neck area. Did she have multiple wounds in her neck area?
Yes.
Gonna move further down. Did she have other injuries and wounds to the front of her chest, north of her belly button, between her belly button and her neck?
Yes.
Did the doctors discuss with you that the stab wounds to the front of the chest are likely the wounds that resulted in her death?
Yes.
And is that because they discussed that the wounds that were from the front, that those wounds cut off branches of the windpipe leading to her lungs, and that those wounds resulted in that much bleeding and her inability to breathe?
Yes.
Okay. Were there any other wounds to the front part of her body? Other areas of the front part of her body that had knife wounds?
Were you talking about the entire front or
The front, so we talk face,
Face.
neck, chest, north of the belly button.
Okay. Okay.
Any other wounds that you recall on the front of her body?
She had defensive wounds on her hands.
Okay, so then let's talk about the hands. So when
Okay, so it wears me out because they have to go the long way around, I guess, to get evidence introduced, before she can just say, I have this. It has to be first mentioned by him. And do you have anything between here and just north of the belly button? Like, cracks me up, wears me out. But anyway, we will continue. I have another website pulled up that I can show you guys. Let me do that real quick. I'll show you guys some of these. Trigger alert, though, trigger warning. These do have, these are like some of the evidence photos, but they're not. There's a little bit of blood on a knife, graphic wise. That's it. There's no like bodies of her, like pictures of her, except for the like nursery camera photos. So, but I will show that. Yeah, put it in a way that the judge won't exclude it, right? Okay, so I'm going to share this tab real quick. This is from the New York Post. Make sure you guys can see it. Okay. So here we see, scroll down here. This is the photo of at like 11 o'clock. That's, I guess, military time up here in this corner on October the 12th of this year. At this point, the baby is in the crib, and then this is Derek Rosa, the boy, the 13-year-old boy, and his mother is in the bed. Apparently, this is right when he's getting ready to, or may have already done. I don't know. And then here is the picture like 30 minutes, 35 minutes before it happened. She's laying in the bed holding the baby. Same flip-flops here in the floor. Here's the cradle with the Pampers, and I can't tell what this is. I don't know what that thing is. If anybody in the chat knows, I don't know what this thing here is. Can you guys tell what that is? I don't know. But anyway, but here she is with this little bundled up baby, right? She got her leggings on. She's all cozy and comfortable. Awful. Awful. So it went from that to this. Just 30, 40 minutes later. Okay. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more graphic, but this is a picture afterwards that he sent to his friends, a picture of himself. And you can tell he does have red stains on his hand. And then here's a picture of the knife. Again, there's like, you can see there's blood on the knife, so it's a little graphic here. And this is the set of keys they were talking about, I guess. Looks like he's got like a little firearm kind of key chain on his keys. Looks like a little flashlight. Looks like there's a picture of a baby, some dollar bills over here. I don't know what this is unless it's like a canned drink, or I don't know what that is. And then here is an up close picture of the knife, and you can see the tip is broken off right here. And they'll talk about that here momentarily. So, yeah. And there's a picture of him appearing in court for the first time, apparently. Looks like he's a deer in the headlights. And this is a picture of her, the mother. Her name again is Irina Garcia. Pretty woman. Pretty woman. This is a maternity photo shoot prior to her giving birth, apparently. I mean, obviously, right? And this is the stepdad. This is the stepfather. I think he said his name was Frank Ramos. And he wasn't home at the time of the incident. Apparently he's a truck driver and was gone. And then this is Derek. Oh. Okay, and this is the family. You can see this is the grandmother right here. That's the grandmother. And this is the dad, and it says that he's blowing his son a kiss. And I guess these are like aunts and uncles, probably. Don't know for sure, but yeah. So horrible, 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 horrible. And again, I don't know that there has ever been mention of going to go back to the other there hasn't been, to my knowledge, any mention at all of a motive. And in the interrogation, like I said before, whenever they were asking, when they got to the point where they asked him why he did it, that's when he says, before we talk about that, can I go to the bathroom? And then after that was when he came back, that's when he said something about wanting a lawyer, and that's when the interview stops. And then also in the 911 call, whenever the 911 operator asks why he did it, that part, what he says after that, has been redacted from the 911 call. So, I don't know. They're keeping that hush hush for now. So, we don't know why yet. But anyway, we will hopefully find out soon what the motive behind it was. There's all kinds of scenarios, right? There's all kinds of possible reasons why, but we don't know yet. Tammy said it looked like a cross. You mean that thing I was showing you guys and didn't know what it was? So yeah. Tammy said he looks older than 12. Yeah. He does look older to me too, but apparently he was 12 years old when it happened and then turned 13. I think his birthday, he says in that interview, was August 20 something. So he was literally he turned 13 and then this happened 2 months later. So he was barely 13 years old when it happened, Okay, I'm going to hush. We'll get back to this. I just wanted to show you guys those photos because they don't really show them clearly in this evidentiary hearing, but I wanted you guys to have the option to see that. So here we go.
You witnessed the autopsy, and you, in conversation, doctor, you noticed wounds on her hands, both hands?
I believe so, yes.
Other than those, anything else in the front?
Not in the front, we're gonna then categorize the back area and the legs, right?
Yes.
Okay, nothing else in the front.
Okay, so for those general areas, I think that's sufficient for that.
Yeah.
So did you also, were you able to see the back of her body?
Yes.
I'm going to start from the bottom this time. Were there any wounds on her legs from the knees down?
Knees down, I don't remember any.
Okay. Do you remember any wounds on her knees, on her legs at all?
Yes.
Okay. What do you recall?
I remember 2 separate wounds that run along the inner thigh on each side of the leg and the general area of the femoral artery.
Okay, so 2 sharp force wounds on each upper thigh and the inside near the femoral.
Yes.
Okay. Other than that, were all the other wounds in the back of her body from, let's say, the lower back up to the head?
Lower, yes, she had on the other on her back she had numerous stab wounds.
Okay,
Yes.
so we'll get to that. So, but is it fair to say that according to what you witnessed, that there was very little blood left in her chest cavity or internal cavities when the autopsy began.
Objection, Your Honor. He's not a medical
And that
examiner.
really doesn't go to the specific issues that I'm interested in here.
He's not an expert.
Okay, and that was the infliction of the wounds, and as you offered, the type of strength necessary to do that.
Okay, yes, sir. So, were there numerous wounds in her back?
Yes,
Did you notice that those wounds went through skin?
yes,
Did they go through muscle?
yes,
Did they go through internal organs?
yes,
Okay. Were there also other sharp force wounds to the back of her neck?
yes,
And let's get to her head. Were there sharp force wounds in the back of her head?
yes, I believe so.
Okay. Did you witness the doctor remove a piece of metal from the back of Arena's skull?
Yes,
Okay. And did you witness the divot left in the back of her skull from that?
I saw when she removed it, and I impounded that little tip as evidence.
Okay. And you were just looking at State's Exhibit, thank you, State's Exhibit 10. Since we obviously don't have that piece of evidence with us, did it look like it was the size of the tip of the knife that's broken?
It was consistent.
Okay. 1 second, Judge, please. One second, Your Honor. No further questions for Detective Lasky at this time.
Cross-examination. And what I'm going to do for
You want
our purposes, Ms. Morales, I'm going to have you vacate that.
Oh, yes, sir.
This is when things get a little bit spicy here, a little bit spicy. This is when the judge
Yes, ma'am, because of the microphone situation.
has to, like tell her to move it along pretty
Help me
often.
with the pronunciation of your last name.
Elosegi.
Elosegu.
Elosegi. Yes.
Elosegu. Okay. Detective, how many years have you been a homicide detective?
21 years.
Okay. And how many interviews of this nature have you conducted?
Of this nature,
Yes.
homicide interviews,
Yes.
God, hundreds and hundreds.
At least 500?
I would say, at least a couple of hundred.
Okay. How many of 13-year-olds being investigated for first-degree murder?
This right here is my first 13-year-old.
Okay. And what was your understanding as to the purpose of your testimony this afternoon, or today, on today's day?
Objection to
I'm
relevance.
sorry, what was the question?
What was his understanding as to why he was called to testify today? Why did he understand that he had to testify? I don't understand how that's relevant.
Sustained.
What did you do to prepare to be here this afternoon?
What, I reviewed notes that I had, I reviewed body cam, and
Thank you, JC. Yes, make sure to like the stream if you haven't already.
remembers of what happened.
Is this your only case that you're working on?
Objection to relevance.
Where are we going, Israel?
Judge, I'd like to know specifically if he's just relying on his memory, if he's talking about he looked at notes, what notes he's looked at, what did he do to prepare for his testimony
I
this
think he
afternoon?
just told you, he reviewed some body worn camera. What else did you review, officer?
I reviewed the body cam, the notes of my, you see, the reports are being memorialized, and we're still adding on to the reports, so they're not complete, where I can bring a report to court here.
Do you have access to them by way of computer, though, as your people are compiling them?
Yes.
Okay. Did you review the reports from your other officers?
Yes, everything, yes.
All right. So you're the lead detective.
Yes,
You're the repository of all of the reports and information of all of your officers.
yes.
Okay. This attorney wants to know what you reviewed before you came in today.
I reviewed, I read the supplements of other officers. I reviewed my supplement up to date, and body cam, and everything.
Do you know if what you reviewed, the defense has?
Objection, Judge.
Let me ask this, I'll withdraw that question, Your Honor.
Okay.
What you reviewed, have you turned that over to the state attorney's office?
No, I have not.
Okay. How many times did you meet with the state attorney's office?
Well,
I'm going to continue to object to relevance.
One moment.
Yes, sir.
What's your next question?
What question did I just ask, or what would
Now, I'll tell you what, if you would like, I'll set this hearing for 6 months. You can take depositions, get all the reports, and be in a complete position. I'm expediting this process for the benefit of your client. Discovery in a case like this can take a year or 2. In this courthouse, I've seen homicide squads take a year to prepare their reports. So, I guess what you're asking him about whether he's turned this over to you or not, is a very little moment for me. As I said again, I'm expediting these proceedings for the benefit of your client. So the fact that you don't have these reports, I got it, I understand. What's your point?
Thank you, Judge. Other than reports, what else, if anything, detective, did you review?
reports, body cam.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did you interview any witnesses?
I interviewed witnesses, I interviewed the defendant's father, and numerous witnesses, his school kids that go to school with him.
Okay. Part of the reason you're here today is to establish Derek's maturity level to some degree.
Objection.
Grant.
Judge, why the state has, asking him why he's here to establish certain things is about what the state's doing. We just called him, we just subpoenaed him. You know, he's just here in response to a subpoena. I don't see the relevance of what his understanding of the legal issues in this hearing are.
Okay, let me do it this way. Mr. Reale, you started your question with, you're assuming you're here because of. I don't know if that's why he's here, but if you want to ask him what he knows about the mental state of your client, or physical abilities, or the things that you believe are relevant, ask him, what do you know about A, B, or C? Can we do it that way?
Yes,
Thank you.
Judge. Detective, based on hundreds of interviews that you've conducted, the amount of years that you have in the force, do you believe that you can provide an opinion as to Derek's maturity level?
Objection, compound evidence, and calls for expert testimony.
Judge, we're asking him to testify as to depth of wounds, like trajectory of wounds. We're asking him.
No,
I
no,
was
no.
hoping to get that from what the end said, but I've got it. And I'll tell you what, this issue could come up later when we talk about the voluntariness of the confession. I'll let that question go ahead.
You may answer, sir.
As far as my evaluation, I not only have worked homicide, I've also worked with juveniles in the juvenile unit. Derek, in my opinion, is very smart. He answered the questions directly, and I think that he is a very smart person that understood everything.
Okay. Let's go to a couple pieces of what you assumed he understood. Can you, Judge, I'm going to fast forward, it's 30 seconds to 2:42 in the morning.
Sorry?
Can we use?
You want me to play my,
You don't
I don't even
have to
have it. It's not in there, it's in the court file now.
Judge, Mr. Lewis specifically asked Ms. Morales if...
No,
Oh, not Ms.
I'm
Morales,
saying-
I apologize. Ms. Hogue, if we
Judge,
could...
I asked ahead of time to avoid this situation because I
I will
figured it
help
would
you,
come up.
but like you need to, I didn't know that,
Oh, I'm
so.
sorry, what,
Well, I'm talking to you.
May I have the
Let's see if I
exhibit?
got it straight.
Yes,
They'd
sir.
like to play a portion of the video that we played.
Right, yes,
So
sir.
they can ask the.
I can do that, I just
about
wasn't,
that.
if I'd known it
Let's see if
would
we can
be.
facilitate that.
I
Yeah,
told
but
them we
it-
would do
Yeah.
that.
Let's all work together, everybody.
That's okay. I gave it back. There's only just have it set up now. It'll take a second. When did you say?
The time frame, Mr.
2:42 in the morning, Ms. Morales, if you'd like. Mr. Lewis can do it, so you don't have to.
My computer, I'll do it. Thank you.
No problem.
Give me a second. 242 up here or 242 on the timestamp at the bottom?
2:42 at the top, 2:42 in the morning.
I want you.
Portion of any kind
Right there?
Yes, you can start right there.
used against me, okay? If there's,
Okay, this is the formal language, okay? Now, I want you to follow, actually to read here. Okay, read this little dot right here. Yes.
Before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights,
Okay, you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and initial this little dot for me. It means that you understand that. Yeah, that's your initials.
I have initials as your name.
Okay. Whatever. Right.
So you heard when Derek, in response to your question, just initial right here, if you understand, his response was, I don't have initials, I just have a name. Did you hear him answering that?
Yeah, I
way?
heard him answer that.
Okay, and that to you is intelligent, answering correctly, and understanding what he's doing?
He's understanding what he's doing because he is.
I'm not asking you why, sir. I'm
Now,
asking you-
well,
I'm answering the question.
You ask him a question, he'll be allowed to respond to.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
He understood what I was telling him because he was complying with the thing. As a matter of you saying that, he doesn't know his initials or anything, I don't see anything. We're talking about him understanding that he understood. So I think he's intelligent, yes.
I didn't say that, sir. He said that. He said, I don't have initials, I just write my name. Moving on to the next one. Ms. Morales, if you can fast forward, please, to 244.
Okay, you understand that? Go ahead.
Especially if you still have
There?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
the right to stop answering at any time or until you talk to a lawyer.
Okay, go ahead and initials right there. Okay, now read this whole paragraph.
I have read this statement of my rights and I understand what my rights are. I am willing to make this statement and answer questions. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I understand and know what I'm doing. No promises or threats have been made to me. No pressure or persistent.
Coercion, that's that we're forcing you to do something. You understand? Whatever you're doing on your own voluntarily basis, making an educated decision
Can we
for
stop
yourself.
right there, Ms.
Okay?
Morales? So at 244:40, you have to explain to Derek what coercion is, right?
I've had adults, yes, and I've had adults that I've had to explain that word. That's not a common word per se. So, yes, I did explain it to him.
Okay, now, not only did you explain it to him, but you had to help him pronounce it. You couldn't pronounce the word, right?
Coercion is a word, like I say, that I've helped other people with. It's not,
That's not my question.
I-
You couldn't pronounce the word, correct?
of course.
Okay,
yes.
moving on. Ms. Morales, if we can go to 245 at 38, please.
I'm sorry, but I don't know many kids that could pronounce that word. Not 13-year-olds anyway. And they sure aren't going to know what it means.
Someone that can represent you in legal.
Ms. Morales, can we go to 245 at 36, please? Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm just gonna do it 38 because
No problem. Thank you.
As an attorney, if you do, go ahead and sign right here.
What's that, sir?
An attorney is someone,
So you also had to explain to him what an attorney was.
Yes, we cleared it with lawyer, which he does know.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that we then told him an attorney was a lawyer, and he understood.
And we is yourself
Myself,
and Detective Gonzalez.
yes.
And there was actually a third police presence in the room, right? A young lady to the far corner, taking notes.
No, there wasn't another police presence.
Who was standing right here? Do you remember who was standing? Not you. Not Ms.
It's me.
It was a state.
that was me.
Okay. So there was a third person in the room.
Yes.
Okay. Now, can we fast forward, Ms. Morales, to 247, please?
I'm sorry. I thought that was pretty funny. So I'm just, okay. Sorry that I thought this was funny, but she really thought she was doing something there. She was like trying to make it seem like this kid was being overran with police presence in that tiny room by himself, right? She's like, well, isn't it true that there was a third person, a third police officer, whatever? And he's like, no, it was just me and so. And then the third person, come to find out, is the state, the chick there with the long brown hair that's running the DVD player. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. And I said DVD player. I almost said VCR. I just gave my age there, didn't I? Yeah, I almost said VCR, and then I was like, I won't say VCR, I'll say DVD player. But even that is, I'm too old. Never mind. I just thought it was funny because the chick was like, that third person in the room is me. It's me. Me. And she's like, oh, okay. Sorry.
Who was standing right?
We then told him an attorney was a lawyer, and he understood.
And we is yourself
Myself,
and Detective Gonzalez.
yes.
And there was actually a third police presence in the room, right? A young lady to the far corner, taking notes.
No, there wasn't another police presence.
Who was standing right here? Do you remember who was standing? Not you. Not Ms.
It's me.
It was a state.
That was me.
Okay. So there was a third person in the room.
Yes.
Okay. Now, can we fast forward, Ms. Morales, to 247, please?
Derek, can you state your full name for the record?
992.
Huh?
992.
Yeah, I remember your full name.
Derek Stephen Rosa.
What's your date of birth?
August 26, 2010.
What's your address?
I have no address.
Okay. What's your telephone number? You don't know either?
No.
Okay. What type of phone do you?
Now, at this point, he's telling you he doesn't know his address, right? And he doesn't know his phone number.
Yes.
And it is still your testimony, and I imagine your opinion, that he was and is an intelligent, was answering correctly, and understood what you were doing, what you were asking of him.
When taking the whole interview into context, yes, he was. He understood. He answered questions and everything.
My question, sir, when he tells you that he doesn't know his address and he doesn't know his phone number, that didn't raise a flag in you, maybe this person, maybe this kid doesn't know what he's doing. You never thought that.
No.
You always maintained that he was intelligent, knew what he was doing, and he was doing so informed, right?
During the whole context of the interview, again, I interpret it as knowing what he was doing and intelligent.
Including this.
Not,
Ma'am,
you're
you've already
taking
asked
it piece
about
by
that.
piece like
Excuse
that.
me, excuse me. You've asked about that, move on to your next area, please.
Yes, my last, actually, I'm gonna go back a little bit, Ms. Morales, if you don't mind, to 245, please. And don't play it, just pause it if you don't mind at 245. And thank you for helping me.
We'll leave it 3 seconds earlier.
Okay. Now, you've conducted hundreds of interviews.
Yes.
How many would you say involved, you already told me not a 13-year-old, but juvenile?
Quite a bit.
Would you say that you are versed on the law as far as when someone is confessing an incident to you and what you can and cannot say to them? What would be an accurate statement of the law? What would be an inaccurate statement of the law?
I don't follow you.
Question.
My
Well,
apologies.
kind of a compound question. One, sustained.
Would you say that you're versed on the law? Period.
All right, where are we going now? Is there a specific thing that you would like to point out that he said or did that's relevant to the determination that I'm supposed to make in this case? If you would, go ahead and proffer it to me, ma'am, because it's 5:40 in the afternoon, and I don't want to take more time
We could just
dancing around a cross-examination.
Okay.
Tell me what it is you expect him to say to you now. What area are you going into?
The detective says to Derek, if you want a chance to explain yourself, the only way we would be able to take your statement is if you agree to talk to us without the presence
All right, will
of
you
the
raise that when you
detective.
move to suppress the statement, ma'am, okay? It's a marginal and absolutely no relevance at all to the determination I'm about to make once I get all the evidence in.
Can I ask him if he knows if that's an accurate fact of law?
Not right now, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I'll move on.
He says, nope.
Give me a second to gather my thoughts here. Okay, so I want to talk about a little bit of your testimony relating to the still shot from the baby cam. First of all, have you seen is there footage? Is there baby cam footage? Baby cam footage.
Not to my knowledge, only stills.
Okay. Now, have you heard the unredacted 911 call?
I've heard the 911 call.
The unredacted 911 call.
I believe so.
Okay. Does the FBI have the unredacted 911 call?
Objection, relevance.
Judge, apparently the FBI has the either forensic dumping or the phone itself. That was his testimony. I'd like to know what other evidence is not in Hialeah Police Department's custody and control.
What does that have to do with the issues in this hearing?
Well, Judge, he was testifying as to premeditation or evidence that, this is something really planned out. And part of his testimony was that he, Derek, typed or searched X amount of words and searches on his phone. I want to know how he knows that those searches were conducted by Derek.
I guess we'll find that out in discovery now, but it's a little moment to me right now.
Okay.
As I've said to you guys about 20 times now, I want to focus on the conditions of his detention to determine if they violate his constitutional rights. Where the evidence is being forensically examined right now doesn't take me anywhere on that question.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome, ma'am.
In terms of the medical examination. Do you know anything about depth of wounds?
The depth of the wounds?
Yes, sir.
I was there when they were doing the autopsy, and I got to see when they actually pulled the skin back, and the doctor explained to me that it hit organs and organs and organs.
Do you have any specialized training to know depth of wounds? You yourself, without somebody else telling you?
I'm not a doctor, if that's what you're asking.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Well,
I'm asking if you have any specialized training to know on your own, without another person telling you, the depth of a wound.
Well, visually, you could see if a wound or an injury goes through skin, and if it hits the organ, you can make an estimation, but other than visual,
Okay. Can you also visually identify the force needed to create certain wounds?
it depends if it strikes a bone or not.
And you could tell that visually, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have any expertise to determine what's a defensive wound or offensive wound?
May I just inquire if I can go back? Do you still need this, Ms. Riella, or can I go back to my table?
No, I do not. Thank you, Ms. Morales. Do you have the expertise to determine what is a defensive or offensive wound?
I have handled many homicides and or stabbings, and I am talking to you from experience that I know what a defensive wound is in a knife attack.
So that's yes? You do have that?
Well, it's experience on the job dealing with it many times. I don't have the medical explanations, but I can tell you what's consistent with a defense wound.
Okay. Is one of the witnesses that you interviewed Mr. Frank Ramos?
Frank Ramos, I interviewed him or dealt with him before. Initially, I don't think I interviewed him initially. I interviewed the defendant's father.
Now, have you met Mr. Ramos prior to this incident?
No.
Okay. And since the incident, how often do you speak?
Objection to relevance.
Judge, the detective testified that he received the still shot from Ramos. The detective also, if we recall, on the 22nd of November, took his personal cell phone to Mr. Ramos's home for a Zoom meeting. I think everybody remembers that, right?
Yes.
You
I
remember
think
that?
he appeared on a cell phone.
His cell phone, correct.
For us,
Okay.
at your Honor's request,
Right.
he drove over there to do it.
When I asked the detective to drive over and find him so we could take testimony from him as to whether he agreed to entering his apartment for inspection.
Okay.
Okay. And where are we going with this?
Have you relayed any of the findings to Mr. Ramos?
Judge, I have an
Well,
objection
wait a minute.
pending.
Now we're on a new question.
Right.
Yes.
All right, let me hear your question then.
Yes, Judge, I don't want to talk about the cell phone anymore. He took his cell phone, Your Honor asked, he said yes. The evidence, the investigation, the course of the investigation. Have you revealed details to Mr. Ramos about it?
Absolutely not.
So you never told Mr. Ramos that there were
Objection to
46
relevance.
evidence?
I'm sorry. What would be the relevance of that? I'll allow you to respond to her objection.
I'd like to know, Your Honor, any type of bias or any type of, why would Mr. Ramos know that there were X amount of
No, we
stabbings?
don't have anything in this record which would indicate that Mr. Ramos knows there were X amount of stabbings. Move on to your next question now.
Do you know if Mr. Ramos would know what the searches on the phone?
Objection to relevance. I mean, for this hearing, all of this is irrelevant.
I don't sustain. Next question, please.
I think I'm done. Give me one moment, Your Honor. Oh, okay. I think I'm done. Thank you, Detective.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
Yes, sir,
Sir,
thank you.
One order.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Mr. Lewis. is
But in the
on.
future, don't hesitate to bring her notes about questions that you think she might want to ask during the examination. Is there anything else you have of this witness that you want to ask of this witness, Mr. Rayl?
Yes.
Okay, let's get it done.
Judge, I can streamline it a lot faster if I just ask the questions, because those are my notes. That's why I know, I understand your policy, Judge. Shouldn't take long. I'd have to tell her what my notes mean.
It's really deciphering his handwriting. When you were interviewing Derek, did you have your gun?
Objection to relevance.
Okay, ma'am, a lot of these things that you're raising here, Mr. Lewis, are things that I would hear ordinarily if you were arguing that his confession or his statements were not voluntary or constitutionally taken, but I'm really much more interested in focusing on the circumstances of his detention. So I'm thinking this goes a bit far afield. I wanted to give you guys a full opportunity to put as much evidence as you thought was relevant into the record. This is not. It's a standard.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you very much. Any redirect?
Yes,
That's not a request
brief.
that you redirect, it's just an...
I'll be very brief, Judge. I know it's late. Trying to be as succinct as possible. Do 13-year-olds have driver's licenses with their addresses on them?
No,
Was the phone that you impounded belonging to Mr. Rosa a smartphone?
I believe it was, yes,
Are numbers saved in that?
yes,
In your experience with adults, are there often times when somebody doesn't know a phone number because they saved them? They don't know it by heart.
yes,
At any point when you were speaking with Mr. Rosa and he didn't understand something, did you explain it?
yes,
And did he seem to you to understand what you explained?
yes.
Just 1 second, Judge. No further questions.
Thank you very much, Detective.
Thank
Judge, can I ask one question?
Um,
Regarding that explanation, I have one question.
I'm sorry, ma'am. What's your question?
My question is, did you explain anything to Derek outside of what we viewed here, outside of this interview?
No,
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Detective.
thank you.
All right, I think we're going to close down today. Good for now.
Can we release him of his subpoena so he doesn't have to come back when we finish?
Does anyone need the detective tomorrow?
Okay, so that's basically it in a nutshell. I mean, all we have in a nutshell, right? Hold on just a second. The child is upset and I need to help her with her shoe. Hold on a minute. Okay, and I'm back. Lee says no, none of it has anything to do with his incarceration. Well, I mean, bits and pieces of it do, right? I mean, like, that's why we watched the interview, his interrogate or listened to that kind of stuff, but he's looking to see if any of the boys' rights, either civil rights or legal rights, were violated. Yeah. Yep. I just really wanted to show this because it gave a lot of information as far as, you know, evidence and that kind of thing. So I thought that it would be insightful, you know, for those of you who were interested in hearing more about this case. So It's definitely a sad one. I'm just eager to find out what the motive is behind why he did it. I think there could potentially be, I could think of a few different things, but I'm not going to throw those out there because, yeah, I don't know. You know, I have zero clue, but I can think of a couple things, and I don't know. I don't know. I do think that they're hardcore. If I'm sure they already have looked into the internet friend, you know, for one thing. For another, I'm sure that they're going to look into family, the dynamics of the family, you know. So anyway, but that's what I got for you guys for tonight. I know it is today's a little bit different. I didn't go on until much later in the evening, almost 5 o'clock Eastern time. But I don't have a trial streaming that I'm streaming as of now since we finished with Bryce Rhodes. I do not sure what we'll work on tomorrow, if anything. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll do a stream tomorrow. Might hop on and just have a little chitter chatter. Unless something pops off, you know, off out of the blue, off the cuff, whatever you want to call it. But I'm glad you thought it was insightful, JC. I'm glad. I'm glad that you came and hung out. I hope everybody's having a great day today. A great night. What are your guys' thoughts on this story? Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think in the chat so I can share your guys' opinions. While I'm waiting on you to tell me what your thoughts are. I mean, even if you have theories, you know, I'd love to hear your theories of why it happened. But I'm a little bit like, I don't know. I guess there's a lot more information I would need to know before the whole like trying him as an adult. Because yeah, I don't, the way he's 13 years old, barely 13 years old. Yeah, I know, right, Gail? Gail says it feels like we're missing something, maybe not. We are missing a lot. I mean, we don't know why he did it. And they took out that bit of information. They took out that bit of information for the 911 call. They took it out from there, and he requested a lawyer during this interview. So they didn't get a motive, so to speak, or why he did it. Lee says, got my blood draw tomorrow. Are we starting coverage? I thought your blood draw wasn't for a while, Lee. Well, as far as tomorrow, plans for tomorrow, I don't have anything that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. I don't know of any trials that are starting up. I mean, I can look. I'm sure there's always something, right? But I can't think of anything. So I don't know if I might just call it a day tomorrow. Oh, you misread the appointments. Oh, so you have your blood draw tomorrow then. Because I thought you said it was going to be in January or February. Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad that you're having it tomorrow and not a long way away. That is good. But as far as tomorrow goes, I don't know what we'll do. I'm not sure yet. Billy says, does the internet guy have anything to do with it? Like the mask girl and Carlton or whatever his name is. I'm not sure. I mean, that's kind of I'm wondering about that myself. I don't know how old this guy is that he's friends with. If is he older? Is he a young guy? You know, I'm not sure. Not sure what the deal is with that, but I know he did say that he had the friend's phone number in his cell phone, so I'm pretty sure that they've already looked into and checked that out. So I don't know. If they have found anything out, they're kind of keeping it shush shush. Maybe they'll not talk about it, or maybe they're still, investigating that kind of thing. I don't know. So yeah, tomorrow I'm not sure yet. We'll just play it by ear. Trying to think. I can't think. I was trying to think if there was any other things that we were gonna talk about. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I know we were talking about that Michelle, what was her name? Martinko or something like that, like doing a vintage case, so maybe we'll do something like that. I don't know. I don't know yet. If I do, it'll probably be just like a pop-up, kind of like it was today, or this evening. So, yes, Billy on the regular channel. Yes. And I'm going to do some, unboxings. I'm excited about that. I got some stuff to unbox. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here and go have some dinner. But it is Thursday. I hope you guys have an amazing night. I hope you have. If I don't see you tomorrow, which I hope I will, I hope that I'll be able to hop on and do something. It's different. It feels weird whenever I don't have like a trial that's for sure, written in stone to do. So I don't know, maybe we need to make a running list of topics to talk about each day when we don't have something going on. But otherwise, I hope you guys having a great night. Stay safe, stay warm, stay cozy if it's cold outside. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Thank you, moderators, and thank you. Thank you. Lee says, have a great holiday season if I don't see you before. Good evening, you guys. Bye.